everyone. In the walking of process with one's in facing what is experienced within ourselves, our thoughts, our voices, our reactions, and then even just looking at the current situation within the world that humanity is facing, even within participating on the internet, in interacting with other human beings, in seeing the words and the expressions and comments and the videos, the situation seems impossible and seems dire, and as though there is really no way out. And when one is looking at everything within that starting point of just being consumed with the overwhelmingness of the situation within ourselves, each other, our life, and the world, it's obviously going to be interpreted, seen, and experienced and viewed within that starting point. You're going to see what you accept and allow yourself to be. And within that, if one accepts and allow oneself to continuously see and look and view and observe within the starting point of overwhelmingness, too-muchness, impossibility, powerlessness, destruction, end, death, I mean, that is exactly what you will then perpetuate, what you will accumulate over and over and over again. I mean, we're not realizing the extent to which how we are in fact creating ourselves, the world, our relationships, our own world, based on our starting point of who we are. And within my personal experience, there was a long time that I looked at everything within myself, within existence, within everything and everyone, and over and over and over again, I'd come to the exact same conclusion that nothing is worth it. It's useless. Everything and everyone should just end. And as I became part of process, the focal point within it all came through that I was actually, as much as I was just seeing and experiencing and viewing everything as powerless, useless, not being worth it, I was in essence constantly and continuously confirming and validating and justifying my own starting point within myself. And therefore all I would see and experience would be problems, destruction, death, ending, powerlessness, emptiness, nothingness. And as I became part of process more and more in assisting and supporting myself, in stopping those experiences of feeling victim to what is here, feeling victim to myself, feeling less than, powerlessness, helpless. And the more and more I started stopping that, the more and more everything started changing to where I was starting to see solutions, where problems that I would usually have used to justify or validate my initial starting point of everything should end, everything should die, I started seeing ways and methods and avenues and possibilities in how points could be changed within the context of the benefit for myself and for all. And within that, I realized that everything that I was seeing, experiencing, and viewing was literally my own starting point. I was seeing everything through my eyes. And my eyes was standing within that acceptance and allowance of powerlessness, helplessness, destruction, death, end, pity, victimization. And this is a point that I would suggest human beings address within themselves, that currently see the world, see existence through the eyes of the mind. Because if one see everything through the eyes of the mind, what you're going to see is yourself and what you are accepting and allowing yourself to be, and in that being, what you're accepting and allowing yourself to live. What you see is what you're accepting and allowing yourself to be and to live. And within that, if we do not change that within ourselves, we're only influencing, affecting, and compromising our ability to realize the possibilities that is here within ourselves and this world and this existence as a whole. And I say possibilities because we have to take that responsibility in transforming that possibility into an actuality. And there are many human beings already at the moment walking with destiny that has realized just this point, that we're able to transform and change who we are, how we live, and what we do, to the extent to which we experience, see, and view everything from an entirely, completely different starting point and perspective, where everything then changed to getting out there, assisting and supporting other human beings, developing solutions, developing practical, physical application changes, transformations in actually bringing about a solid, real, actual, factual, living change in this world, in this reality. And therefore, human beings that go on about this is too much, or this is overwhelming, or I'm a program and this is how I am, this is what I am, I cannot change, or writing self-forgiveness, actually applying myself to physically, practically change is beyond me, I am beyond help, that will not help me at all, or making statements like, with me assisting and supporting myself and my process will make no difference to anyone else or this world as a whole. I mean, there are human beings that's been walking with destiny that can stand and show as themselves that all those statements are invalid, are in fact justifications, reasons, and excuses to not change. And that is a point that I realized within myself as well, because everything that I'd done in my past in terms of having that view and that experience and that perception of existence was because I did not want to make the effort to in fact change, to in fact change my starting point, to in fact change me, because I didn't want that point of responsibility to be realized within myself, that if I change, everything change. And human beings that have walked with destiny will be able to find that within themselves as well, where once you start changing, it's like everything changes, because everything is because of the starting point that self is accepting and allowing self to be, that the solution has in fact always been ourselves. And I mean, in my past, I looked for solutions everywhere, in everything, in everyone, for an extensive period of time. And in that was also a way of sabotaging myself, because from a certain perspective, we always know that we're the solution, that for everything to change, we have to change. And so I, from that perspective, deliberately sabotaged myself and the process for everything and everyone else, just because of that point of, but I don't want to change. And what I found within that point of, I don't want to change or make the effort to change, is simply within the context of laziness, that we don't want to put in that effort of, in fact, assisting and supporting ourselves to change ourselves within ourselves and the world as a whole, in realizing the extent to which we're going to have to commit ourselves, to the change within ourselves, which is a lifetime commitment. And that is resonantly known by each and every single individual human being. And therefore, those that are walking with destiny, walking the tools, the writing, the self-forgiveness, the self-corrective application, has embraced that realization in making that effort, that I will commit me to myself, to everything and everyone else as myself, and walk this as a lifetime, as me, until it is done. And therefore, those participating in destiny, walking and living that statement, is walking together and assisting and supporting each other. And within that, we are slowly but surely, breath by breath, step by step, making an impact in our accumulation process of the equality equation, 1 + 1 + 1. Everything move and walk within that context. You walk your self process that way. You walk it step by step by step, 1 + 1 + 1. You accumulate yourself, the self within you, every moment as that 1 + 1 + 1. You stop a pre-program or a program within yourself, taking your position as self, and direct that one point as you, and then the next point, and the next, and the more and more, you start establishing yourself within your human physical body, your world, and everyone else that's walking with. And within that, as human beings are walking and sharing their process, that is then facilitating other human beings within their processes to start seeing beyond and through the pre-programming of the mind consciousness system, to realizing that if I change, everything changes. And therefore, human beings that come to destiny within the context of simply regurgitating, complaining, justifying, excusing, and validating their mind consciousness system, and not putting in that effort to actually do what is required to be done to change, not only for self, but for everyone and everything else. And actually sitting down, doing the writing, the self-forgiveness, the practical corrective application, participating with everyone else, walking the same process to quantify your own process, is simply making a statement that I'm too lazy, I'm not going to put in this work and this effort. And that's a deliberate statement being made. And therefore, it is not necessary then for you to come and participate with us on the forums or the videos or the blogging. You're more than welcome to go back into your own world and complain there within your own mind with other human beings that will lend their ears to you or listen to you, but even realize that within that, you're compromising yourself and other human beings within their processes, and you accordingly face your manifested consequence you create for yourself, because the more you speak, the more you complain, the more you justify, excuse, and validate, the more you're simply integrating, automating, and programming your own mind, your own world, and you're just time looping and spinning yourself within your own individual process. And it's going to stay like that until you change, until you stop. And the only way to do that is through writing, self-forgiveness, self-corrective application. It is the only access to self. And you're more than welcome to waste your own time in trying to find other solutions, other ways, other methods We have walked the entirety and totality of existence, and there is no other solution but this: writing, self-forgiveness, self-corrective application. It is how you walk through yourself as your mind, as your programming, as your total past, to open up your own windows of opportunity to be able to take that position within yourself to change. So within the forums, within how we're working together as a group in assisting and supporting ourselves, each other, in quantifying this process, in walking the change that's required to be directed within ourselves and this world, we will not accept such unnecessary complaining, justifying, excusing, and validating your programs, your mind consciousness systems. I mean, we've heard it all, we've faced it within ourselves, we've done the writing, the self-forgiveness, the self-corrective application, and we're quite on our way to that lifetime commitment of assisting and supporting ourselves and others as ourselves. And therefore, if you're wanting to join, more than welcome. Make sure that your writing within the forums, within your bloggings, within your videos is actually assisting and supporting you. It's actually assisting and supporting other human beings within their process. We're considering and regarding ourselves, each other, and existence as a whole. And if you deliberately come in and try and present your ego of what you're accepting and allowing without living a solution, what you're doing is you're simply compromising yourself and everyone else, and that's simply unacceptable. Rather go out and do that in your own world, where you face your own stuff. That's the decision you're making yourself, in essence. You're making the decision to time loop within your own process, so go ahead and walk that within your own world. Here we are in the process of creating the new world. So within the forums, the support and assistance with writing is to actually write yourself within the context of realization, in assisting and supporting yourself within your writings to make sure that what you're writing is actually directive. It is not going into that context of compromising yourself and others in complaining, moaning, tantruming, mind regurgitating your mind consciousness system. It's not assisting and supporting you. Therefore, the context of writing that we're showing here is to assist and support you in your process and that of others, and your self-forgiveness to take you to the next step of your self-corrective application to implement change in your practical world. So we're going to do an interview as well soon in terms of how to assist and support yourself more effectively in your writing. So keep a lookout for that video interview. But for now, this main focus is what I'd like to share in what statement you're making when you're in fact participating within process, that it is that lifetime commitment, and those that come up with all those excuses, justifications, and validations, is we can see right through it. It is unacceptable because it's simply a statement of laziness, like, I don't want to change, and we do not accept and allow that. We're looking for beings that can stand up and stand within that courage, that commitment, and that says a lot about a being when you make that decision to stand up not only for yourself but for everything and everyone else. I mean, that's your first step to realizing equality and oneness. Thank you very much.